we're going to work on the hamstring musculature today. We've worked on that outside lateral posterior side of the hamstring where it meets up into the IT band, but we really haven't hit the depth of the hamstring yet. So we're going to use the Supernova or the softball again. I'm going to stick with the Supernova because it gives a little bit better density right up into the hamstring itself. Plus it's a little bit bigger than the softball, so I can get more force going down up on it before my leg actually kind of envelops over top of the softball. So you can do this one of two ways. We can do it right down on the floor, or if you've got the access to a bench or a harder tabletop surface or a step, you can use that instead. I'm going to show you down on the floor first, then we'll go up to the step and or to the bench and show you how you can use that to help even get better penetration up onto the hamstrings. And it gives you just a little bit more depth of action as you're trying to get those soft tissue to release out, get a little bit more supple. So if we start down with our Supernova on the floor, we're going to start right up underneath where the hamstrings meet up underneath of the glutes. And those hamstrings actually go up underneath of your butt cheeks on those glutes and connect up on your pelvis. So we're going to start right up underneath of the cheek, and we're going to roll it longitudinally with the leg musculature going up and down the thigh. And don't take a huge swath. I see people a lot of times, they'll take just massive swaths of tissue and they're really not moving slow enough to get the penetration of the ball up into the tissue itself. So take your time, take a small little section of tissue and work it up and down, back and forth. You can roll it side to side and get a little shearing action on those tissues on your hamstrings, but we're really trying to get that whole posterior length of that hamstring going all the way down. For most people, right in the belly of the hamstring itself, right in the middle of the thigh, that's where you're going to get a lot of restrictions. And you may get some restrictions up towards the upper part underneath the glutes, and maybe a little bit back behind the knee, but for most people, like I said, right in the belly of that hamstring is where it's going to get really bristled up and nice and tight and tense. And you got to take your time working those fibers out. You can't spend just 30 seconds on this and think that your hamstrings are going to be good. You've literally got to spend 1 to 2 to maybe up to 5 minutes on a hamstring to get some penetration into it. If a massage therapist is working on your hamstring, I guarantee they're going to spend more than 30 seconds on your hamstring. You should too. It's your hamstring. It's nobody else's. After you spend 2 to 3 to 4 minutes, maybe up to 5 or 6 minutes on that hamstring, then we can go ahead and switch it over to the other side. Like I said, I'm going to use the bench next on the other leg to show you how we can do it on the bench. Let's take the same ball. You're going to get up on it, and now we can really get some good pressure because now my body weight is all pushing down on that ball. And if I get a little closer to the edge here, I can roll it. It forces you to take a little bit of shorter roll action because otherwise your lower leg will hit the edge of the bench. So it really does a good job of not only allowing you to get more penetration and more pressure, but it also forces you to take a shorter rolling action on top of the bench. Another good thing I like about being up on the bench is that as I'm hanging here, my hamstrings are actually nice and soft. They're a little bit less tense than down on the floor because when my leg is straight, that pulls those hamstrings and put a little bit more of a tension on them. Now I can let my knee bend and let those hamstrings go on relax and get some really good penetration up on the bench. If I find a spot right in the belly of the muscle, right about there where it starts to hurt and give me some tension, I can barrel down on it, get some tension, and I can contract and relax just by extending my leg up and down. If I want to get lower down, I just move the ball. Don't necessarily have to move your torso on this one, and spend some time on the lower sections too. Get a little gummy spot back there on the outside posterior edge, pin it down, contract, relax, 3 to 5 reps, and then go right back into your rolling again. And don't be afraid to do some of those lateral shearing motions with that ball too. You don't just want to work those fibers in the direction of the line of fiber. You want to go ahead and work it side to side, take more of that cradle rocking action on those hamstrings. Like I said before, 3 to 5 minutes should be bare bones minimum on each hamstring. Take your time on it, give it a really good stretch afterwards, and you'll learn to love it.